everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Divinely Beautiful
and Dazzlingly Clever.
We're so glad to be here.
Yeah, we are. It's, December. The holidays are upon us. So this week we're going to do more books than we usually do, but saying a little bit less about them so we can do just sort of like our gift guide. And between the covers we'll also do like some gift guide stuff, but this is ours.
A wide spread of genres, of books we've really liked in the past year and beyond, and we just think they'd be great holiday gifts.
Yeah. So first we're going to talk about nonfiction, and so for my nonfiction I want to talk about Just Kids by Patti Smith. It's not new, but I think it's a really great gift for anybody. I've bought it for people and I've recommended it as a gift because it is sort of a crowd pleaser. Everyone really likes it.
You love it.
I do love it. I have 2 editions of it. But Patti Smith is the musician, and you also don't have to be interested in her music to read this. I was not before I read it. I am now, but I wasn't at the time. And it's about her life in New York in the 60s with Robert Mapplethorpe and their friendship and their romantic relationship. And she's just a really beautiful writer, and it's not super long. It would be just sort of a good gift for someone who you don't really know what they like.
Do you hear a lot about that time period?
Like in the book? Yeah, definitely. She lives in a hotel for a while.
Ooh,
yeah,
okay. Cool.
The other one I was going to talk about is Promised Land, the new Barack Obama memoir. I know I've seen a lot of people buy it lately. It's huge, it's heavy, it's nice. It would be a good gift for just people who like a memoir, people who are interested in politics. It's volume 1 of 2, so that also gives you, if they like it, when volume 2 comes out, you can buy them volume 2. I think, Barack Obama's a very interesting person. I always think it's interesting to find out what someone was like when they were younger.
Sure.
Like our perception of someone is a certain time period in their life, but I know nothing about college Obama. So that was interesting. And then the next one is She Come By It Natural by Sarah Smarsh, and it is a book about Dolly Parton, whom I love and who we all should love. She's donated to help fund one of the 2 COVID vaccines that's coming. And, she's got Imagination Library. She's a great songwriter, a great singer. I love her. She Come By It Natural is about sort of the women she sings about and the women who connect with her songs. And a lot of time it's
Okay.
It's cool. It's a lot of like impoverished women or women in Appalachia. Women who, and there's sort of a thread of a lot of these women maybe wouldn't label themselves feminists, but a lot of their life is lived in a way that's very shaped by their gender.
9 to 5.
Right. Yeah. And so, Coat-O-Many Colors. She has a lot of stuff about socioeconomic and gender.
I just learned a lot about Dolly this year. I knew her as a cultural figure, but I didn't take a deep dive into her from your suggestion.
I love her.
Just one of a kind of person. Just so wildly talented and using that talent to kind of make the world better in so many different ways.
As you've said about Dolly Parton, God gave with both hands.
God gave with both hands to Dolly Parton, and she paid it forward.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I love her. I think she's great. Also, if you like that, the documentary about her on Netflix, you really like it.
I did. There's a lot of people loving Dolly.
She's great. She's great. She wrote Jolene and I Will Always Love You in the same day. Guys. That's crazy. All right, those are my nonfiction. So for the Dolly book, I would buy for your mom or your sister or your dad. I'm just going to list every family member. No, but people who are interested in music, people who are interested, I think women would probably like this book.
Definitely.
Because it's not so much about, it's not a biography of Dolly Parton. It's more about who she's singing about, who she's singing to, and that conversation.
And my nonfiction pick was Trick Mirror by Gia Tolentino. And she has essays all over the place, famously in the New Yorker. So this is a combination of essays that deal with kind of social media frenzy and how pop culture's exploded and gone wild, especially in the 2010s, in the era of instant gratification and people living out their lives on Instagram and Twitter. So she discusses unlikable female characters in various media and why we like them sometimes and why we can't stand them other times, and they're so polarizing. And she discusses scams, because we've seen quite a few interesting scams the past couple of years. She takes a deep dive into all sorts of social media, into books, into movies. She's, of course, a wonderful writer, and I quite enjoyed it.
I loved it. She does a chapter about when she was a teenager, she was briefly on a reality show, and I thought that was really interesting.
Yes. Body image. Yeah. Lots of discussion about like self-esteem and body image, especially among women.
Teen women especially, too.
Teen women.
I really liked it.
Yes, I did too. And I'd only read her online, and I was so excited to have all of them in one tidy volume.
Who would you give it to?
Oh, give it to my sister. Yeah, anyone who's kind of like pop culture savvy, wants to read more. Anyone who kind of wants to delve into the media madness we've kind of slipped into, especially on social media. So Instagram and Twitter, and anyone who follows the Kardashians may be interested in how that empire got built up, because a lot of the essays in here kind of talk about that too. So that is my nonfiction pick.
Okay, I have 2 fiction books I want to recommend. One is Leave the World Behind by Rumaan Alam. It is about a white family goes to this Airbnb, and while they're there, a elderly black couple knocks on the door and says, like, we own this place. There's been a huge blackout. We need to come stay with you. We're sorry, but we do own this place. We just need to be here. And it starts out, you think it's kind of a mix of like a thriller plus like a...
It sounds thrillery.
It is thrillery. It's also sort of comedic. It definitely is a thriller. It also has comedic elements where it's like a comedy of race a little bit, where you, the perspective is from the white family. So you are thinking like you're in their heads a little bit more. So it's like they're not sure that they're the owners, but they also don't want to be racist. So they're like... Of course they're the owners, but the mom is not sure.
Okay.
Or the wife is not sure. And so it just is, going back and forth on that. And it's really very fun. It's very, very well written. I loved it. I definitely recommend it. Just a really good contemporary fiction, sort of like highbrowy thriller. Not that there's anything wrong with a run-of-the-mill thriller, but like how The Goldfinch.
Ooh, okay. Sure.
I don't think it plot-wise it is not like The Goldfinch, but it's that sort of book, I think. Okay. Where it's like a little bit more serious thriller.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like a literary thriller, I guess. It does. Is what I'm trying to say. It's a literary thriller.
Yeah. Cool. Very cool.
It's very good. I recommend it. Just someone who likes literary fiction, who likes thrillers, who likes both, would love it. That's where it's really at, yeah. I think it would make a great movie. I hope it becomes a movie. Or a show. Might be a good mini-series. It's good. I recommend it. And then the other book I want to recommend is Real Life by Brandon Taylor. And it's just a newer literary fiction. It was shortlisted for the Booker Prize earlier this year. It's about a black doctoral PhD candidate at a white Midwestern higher education institution. I believe the author went to U of M, so it's cool. It's very Ann Arbor-y.
A Michigan connection.
Yes. Okay. It's very, because it is like a non-specified institution, non-specified. It's not real. Town, but it reads like Ann Arbor because that is also what his experience
That definitely influenced it. Okay.
And I liked it a lot. I'm not done with it. I'm like halfway through it, but it's just a really good literary fiction, contemporary fiction. If you like to read the award winners, if you want to give it to someone who likes to read the award winners, this was shortlisted for the Booker. I know people that want to read like everything that was shortlisted for stuff, or maybe it was just longlisted. I'll check. But it was it almost won the Booker, and it's really well written. It's really interesting. It's very like introspective. I chose 2 books about race. They're both really great. You should gift Real Life to someone who just broadly likes fiction, likes contemporary fiction, doesn't want anything too speculative or out of the realm of possibility. It's just a really great literary contemporary fiction. Cool. And that's who I would gift it to. I would gift it to my mom if I had to pick someone in my life, because she reads everything though.
My fiction recs, we're going to start with Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed. You read this I believe some Between the Covers people read this as well. It was a hit across the board. It's just a great piece of contemporary fiction. This is an excellent book club book if you really want to dig into some interesting discussions. So we have two main characters. There is Alex, who is an affluent white woman. She has kind of her life perfectly together. She recently had a baby, so she's trying to bounce back a little bit in her professional life. And then there's Amira, who is her nanny. She is mid-20s. She's Black, and she is trying to figure out what her next chapter is. She enjoys nannying, but she doesn't want it to be a forever job, but she's just not sure what she wants to do next. And their lives really collide in a spectacular way when Amira has to take one of the girls who's 5?
Little.
She's pretty little. Something is happening at the house, and Alex calls Amira and says, please get her out of here. We just need a moment. And what happens at the house will have pretty big repercussions later in the book. So Amira takes the little girl to the grocery store. They're just having a fun time. They're wandering down the aisles.
She's dressed in like her going out clothes because she was like
yes
at a bar because she was off work.
Yes.
And the mom was like, we don't care how you're dressed. We don't care if you've been drinking. Like we just need someone to come get.
We need you right now. Yeah. So she said, sure, okay, that's fine. And while she's shopping, this security guard comes up and starts questioning who she is because another woman who was shopping nearby didn't think Amira should be with this little girl. Like, she was suspicious that she'd been kidnapped, that something wasn't quite right. So even though Amira kept saying, I am the nanny, I have permission to be here, I watched this little girl, things get heated very quickly, and a bystander starts filming it. And what happens throughout the rest of the book is the fallout from that racist incident in the grocery store. It's how Alex reacts to it because she put Amira in this vulnerable position. It's Amira figuring out what she wants to do now that she knows like this tape exists, and she's re-examining her relationship with Alex and with that family.
It's very funny.
None
of that sounds funny. It's very funny.
It's very funny. Just this kind of quiet, sly humor. You can feel the author kind of like giving you a wink or a nudge over these seemingly insignificant moments that really are not insignificant. So I had a great time with it. Many people would recommend it, clearly. A great book club pick if it's not already on your list. Moving on to my next book is The Huntress by Kate Quinn. I quite like Kate Quinn. I sang her praises over the Alice Network, which is historical fiction about a spy ring, and it takes place in both World War I and World War II. And The Huntress is firmly in World War II, so you pivot between three characters in the aftermath of the war. There is an American war correspondent who is tracking down criminals after the war has ended because a lot of really bad people scattered immediately after the Allies won. A lot of people fled to South America. A lot of people said that they were innocent, that the party made them do it. So he's trying to track down some of the worst offenders and try and bring them to justice with very few resources at his disposal. And as he keeps running against roadblocks, his faith in the system and his ability to right these wrongs becomes diminished. And he meets up with a Russian pilot who was my favorite character. And she was a member of the 588 Night Bomber Regiment in the Soviet Army, and the German Army nicknamed them the Night Witches, which was this regiment of mostly teenage and young, in their 20s, Russian women who flew these covert missions to bomb German supply lines, bomb German strongholds throughout. They flew in planes that were used for crop dusting. They didn't have parachutes until 1944, and they were very slow. These were not speedy planes. They were made for crop dusting. These women were amazing. They were wildly successful, wildly courageous. A lot of these women were awarded after the war. Just the coolest little bit of history that I did not know about. So we meet a Russian pilot who is part of that regiment. She has a bit of a chip. She definitely has a chip on her shoulder after a run-in with a particularly horrible Nazi criminal known just as the Huntress. So she and this American are going to team up and try and find the Huntress based on his paperwork and based on her recollection of who this woman is, where she might be, how she's going to try and get out of this. And there's another American stateside whose father has recently married a German widow, and the daughter just wants to learn a little bit more about this widow and her mysterious past. I would say for a book club pick, if you like your book club with a little more action to it, this would be a great choice. So yeah, I would say definitely if you like the Lilac Girls, this would be a good fit for you. My next fiction picks are by Lucy Foley, and she wrote The Guest List, which I just finished, and The Hunting Party, and this is firmly in the thriller realm. The Guest List has a pretty simple setup. It's a ritzy wedding at this Irish estate out on an island, and you have the bride, who is perfect and gorgeous and amazing, and her husband, who is a reality TV star, and the different people present for this wedding. So you have you have the bride's half sister, you have the best man, you have the wedding planner, and after the wedding, all you know is that there's been a murder. So in the days leading up to the wedding, you hop between all of these different perspectives because a lot of secrets are coming up to the surface. A lot of true faces are being revealed. And she pulls off the same conceit in The Hunting Party, because that's about a group of 30-something friends who get together after a long period of time apart, and they go to a hunting lodge to reconnect. And guess what? There's another murder there. If you're more interested in trying to solve the mystery quickly and saying it was him in the parlor with the candlestick, then she is definitely going to be an author you want to keep an eye on. So yeah, all my fiction picks are basically different degrees of book club.
Yeah.
You want to sit down, you want to read these, and you want to tell someone about them immediately and get their thoughts.
So, some kids' books I'm going to recommend. The newest Dave Pilkey, which for many, that's all you need to say. That's all you need to say
from
to sell
from the creator of
Dogman and Captain Underpants. Cat Kid Comic Club is his newest one. And it's kind of fun because it's a little bit meta. It's a little bit about the art of comic
cool
books, but it's a new series. It's not and it's not like a nonfiction. It is still fiction, but there's some like elements of, I mean, it's called Cat Kid Comic Club. It's about a group of kids learning about comics. And it's really fun. If a kid likes Dogman, if a kid likes Captain Underpants, Dork Diaries, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, 13 Story Treehouse, they're probably gonna like the new Dave Pilkey. It's
excellent.
Pretty, it's very fun. He's always very fun. He's always very funny.
Very on brand.
Very yeah.
Cool.
Again, sometimes all you gotta say, it's the new Dave Pilkey.
It's the new Dave Pilkey.
And the kids who like that are gonna love this too.
Sure.
It's up the same quality, same temperament as his other books, which I quite like. I think they're very funny.
So my first kidlit pick is in young adult, and it's Goddess in the Machine by Laura Beth Johnson. It is science fiction, but a bit of fantasy in there too. So you begin with the protagonist, Andra, and she's drowning. She has no idea where she is or what is happening, and we fade to black. So a very cinematic beginning to this. And when she wakes up, she realizes that she came out of cryo sleep because the Earth as we know it is no more, and she was put on a massive space ship to ride out this journey to a new planet, and she's been woken up and she's been left behind. And what's more is that civilization hasn't totally faded on Earth. It is now run by a kind of feudalistic kingdom who believes that she is actually a god, and that anyone who interacts with technology is some sort of deity. And what's more is that she's brought to this kind of mad king and told, you need to show us magic. You're a god, you have to show us magic, and if you do not, we will have you sacrificed. So she teams up with this disgraced prince. The Mad King is his brother, who is trying to get in good with his brother, the king, again, while Andra is furiously trying to figure out where her family is, where the rest of the settlers are, if there's any way for her to go back into cryosleep and to fly out and meet them. It is so, so good. Someone compared it to Anastasia, the 1997 version, obviously, with Star Wars.
Oh!
And I would agree with that. So we've got court intrigue, we've got sci-fi action, we've got some fantasy elements to it. So really, if you're a YA reader who's kind of a jack of all trades and you just want to sit down for a good old-fashioned adventure with just a smidgen of romance, I would highly recommend.
Our last 2 books are picture books. I love both our picture books a lot. I think they're really pretty. Mine is In a Jar by Deborah Marcero. And it is about a rabbit that collects things and puts them in a jar. And I love it. It's so pretty and gentle. I love the art a lot. It's very quiet. I like little collecty things.
Sure.
I like little knickknacks. I like small things. And it's sort of, he's collecting stuff like that. So that, I like that aspect of it. The art is really lovely. It's a very sweet book.
Why is he collecting?
I think he just likes it. Or maybe I missed the message. But I think he just likes it. I mean, why? Yeah. You know, why do I pick up stuff in the street that I think is neat?
I don't know.
Because it's neat.
And they're neat.
So I relate to this little rabbit. Because he picks up things and saves them. And I just loved the art. It was really beautiful. Yeah. It was a quiet, for more of like a kid who doesn't necessarily want or need a lot of like action in their picture book. Okay. It's a little more, it's definitely more, I would say, like picture, like I'm more focused on the art than I am the story for this one. So a kid who likes the art more than anything, or even like an adult that really just likes picture books and likes like illustrations. Sure. I sometimes will buy like a picture book for my mom because she likes stuff like an Oliver Jeffers or something. Cool. I would say fans of Oliver Jeffers would maybe like it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I loved it. I just think it's really lovely, and I would recommend. Oh, it's a good baby gift, I think. Nice. Okay. Yep. Because it's a like simplistic enough story. You can read it to a baby.
Well, and it's always nice to expand baby gifts beyond the classics. Yeah. Because the classics are classic and great for a reason, but there's a high possibility that 3 other people already got them.
And those are all. I love all those books a lot. Yes. But I like to try to buy something a little new. Yeah. Just because it's less likely that they would have it. So I would get this for a baby. That's how I would. Fun. Or, a new parent.
Yeah. Add to the collection early. Yeah. I would say the same for my pick.
Yeah. I love this one.
The Barnabas Project. It's by the Fan Brothers. And if you haven't seen them before, The Night Gardener is another one of their books. And it is beautifully illustrated. That's a theme, is the illustration on these is just gorgeous. But the Barnabas Project is about a pet store that creates perfect pets, and they are combinations of different animals, like hybrid of, I can't even remember what some of them were, but something like
Elephant and a Mouse.
Yes, that's Barnabas, but he is not a perfect pet. He is not considered perfect. So he is down in the basement along with the other non-perfect pets, and he decides that he wants to go out and see the world, and even though they are not considered perfect, they should still get to go on adventures of their own. So I would say, for any Toy Story viewers out there,
gonna say the same thing.
This would be a great pick. Honestly reminds me of the holiday classic Island of Misfit Toys. Is all of these little guys, cute and special in their own way, who decide that they should go on an adventure. They deserve an adventure. It is lovely. I'm definitely going to give it at the next baby shower, early birthday invite that I receive. I
would be like a sensitive child, like I was. I would really like it because I would feel very like emotionally connected to
I would want to draw my own perfect or unperfect pet.
That would be a fun activity.
Is what kind of animals would you create to be your perfect or maybe unperfect pet? Yeah.
Excellent.
So those were our picks. We hope that covers a broad range of different readers. Of course, the wonderful folks at Between the Covers have great lists at the ready for all of your holiday needs. But we hope you pick up some of these, you flip through them, you enjoy them, maybe for yourself or for others.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays from
Divinely beautiful and dazzlingly clever.
Bye.
Bye.